Hello and welcome to Feedback and Surveys, a busy webinar on behalf of BizzyWeb, presenting for Constant Contact. We're going to help you get valuable insights to help you drive your success today on online surveys. So if you've goofed around with surveys before, this is your big chance to learn details on where to go next. We'll give you a couple of things while we wait for people to get online. If you're on the webinar already and you're listening to this, thank you very much. And I'll go through how to submit Q&A questions. We're going to have this done in probably 35 to 40 minutes. So thank you for hanging on with us. And this is going to be worth your time. There's a lot of fantastic information in this presentation. I am Dave Meyer with BizzyWeb, and here's how to reach me. If you do have any questions or things that you want to follow up with us on after this event, we also do have a special offer that's going to be available for you. And if you visit the link at the bottom of every screen in this presentation, BizzyWeb.com/cc, or if you have problems during the event, you can dial us at any time at the number listed on the bottom of the screen, 612-4BizzyO. That's 612-424-9990, and we'll get right to helping you out. I'm going to cover again how to do Q&A, but first I'm going to tell you just a little bit about what we do, and then we'll go into our agenda, and then I'm going to switch over. So here we are. This is BizzyWeb. This is what we do and what we do best. We are an online marketing company that focuses on WordPress web design. And then once you get your website up and live, or if you already have a wonderful website, we help you with our Buzz Builders online marketing programs, which is where Constant Contact comes in. Part of what we do is we are an authorized local expert for Constant Contact. And through that, we can quickly and easily create email marketing campaigns. We're actually running a in-depth training in Bloomington right now as well. So Jen, my compatriot, is actually out there doing an in-depth seminar for Constant Contact right now as well. So that's who we are, what we do. If you need help with SEO, online marketing, blog posting, content writing, or certainly WordPress-powered web design, we build websites in WordPress that are designed to integrate with social media so well that when you update your website, it automatically updates Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Google+, Pinterest, you name it, all with one click. But we are here to talk about Constant Contact, and inside of Constant Contact, you can do all kinds of stuff now, including newsletters and announcements, offers and promotions, feedback and surveys, and of course, events and registrations. We're here to talk about surveys today. So you're going to learn a lot more about those. And we have webinars and registrations available for all of the other things that are on this list as well that we've worked through before. So that's our deal. And before we get into much more detail, I'm just going to talk very quickly about how to do Q&A. So if you have questions during this event today, the easiest way to do that is going to be from the BizzyWeb homepage. If you're watching this live right here, look at number 1 above, and there's a link to our Google Plus page. If you go to that Google Plus page, you'll see that this looks like a Q&A and a live button right here. If you click on that, if you are listed or connected with Google Plus, you'll be able to log in with your Google Plus account and join to ask questions. When you do that, it's going to look like this. So I'm going to pop this up, and I'm going to pause it because it'll automatically start playing. So now you can see the screen. And then if you want to ask me a question, I'm going to stop at a couple points during this event and just let you ask those questions. So click the green button down at the bottom, ask a question here. And if you do that, we'll be able to help you out right away, and we'll be able to answer that online. Again, that's the deal on how to get into it. And I'll share a couple of other ways that you can do that during the event. So at its core, of course, marketing, including surveys, is about eliciting a physical and measurable response. The more you can connect out with people and reach out, what you're trying to do is get people to actually take some sort of an action. And surveying is one of the easiest ways to find out what people are interested in so that you can tailor your messaging, your marketing directly to them. Inside of this, campaigns are what Constant Contact uses in its parlance as part of what you do. So a survey technically is a campaign inside of this. What you're trying to do with every campaign is push content out to your people so that you can pull a response back. They're going to submit that survey, and you're going to get feedback and helpful information from them. At its core, marketing comes down to measurement. If you're not measuring, you're not marketing. So make sure that you're connecting up with that. And in this case with surveys, you're trying to push questions and pull insights. So what are we going to talk about today? Well, first, we're going to go into what are surveys, polls, and reviews, and why you should use them, how to structure your survey, and how to plan good questions. We'll talk about the when and the who with 2 important questions, and we'll talk about results and follow-up. Finally, we'll go through what's next. This is going to be a fast-paced seminar. We've got a lot of content to cover. So if you do have questions, please, again, go over to the Q&A tool and ask those questions right here. And that's what it looks like. And I'm hoping that a lot of folks will be on because we have a whole bundle of people viewing today. So we'd love to have you with us and have you ask those questions about surveys. All right, so let's get into the what and the why of surveys. First, here's why surveying is important. Your customers are probably saying they'd spend more if their customer experience was better, or people would tell their friends if they really liked your content in your company, and that people don't worry about prices if the experience is great. The point of all of this and what your customers might be saying is that you need to know in order to modify your marketing approaches or to adjust your products and services. You need to know your objective, of course. You need to know what it is that you need to know to help you run your organization more effectively, what's going to make you more successful, and then pick one thing and ask questions about that one thing and be focused about it. It's tempting to send out a survey with 75 questions on it and just get it all done all at once, but a simple survey that's less than 10 to 12 questions long, or probably even shorter, that you can take in 6 to 8 minutes is about the upper limit of what you can reasonably expect good referrals or good survey response to be. The thing is, every question you ask should already have a possible action associated with it. So when you're talking about objectives, here's some good and bad. First, a bad objective might be find out if people read our Facebook posts. That's not great. What might be better is find out if our Facebook fans prefer pictures or links to articles. Do they like our product? Do they like Bob's orange juice? Better, do you think our home-style OJ is more or less bitter than other brands? That's very specific. And of course, did they like our event? And so if we are looking for that, yes, great, liking is one thing, but did they like the layout of the venue? Was the program too short, too long, or just right? Or do you prefer a plated dinner or a buffet? So getting that type of detail is going to be very important as you push forward. So let's go through a scenario. Here's a more complete example. An okay objective, learn if my customers, supporters, or clients are using social media, and that's great for a single poll question, but not so much for a survey. A better one might be identify how I could use social media to better engage with my customers. Now, there's a difference between goals and objectives. The overall goal of something might be to improve your marketing. The objective is something that's specifically tied to a physical action or result. So that's what we're talking about here. So here's our sample question. What social platforms do you use? And the possible actions based on response, refocusing social media strategy based on the most popular channel. We can also look at what kind of content do you look for on social media? Articles, pictures of friends or organizations you follow, deals, coupons, jokes, quick tips, or other. These are probably radio buttons for you, as well as develop, and then the response that you're looking for from that is to develop desired content and feature in their social media posts. So you could also use a newsletter from that. Or for another example, how often do you expect to see new content posted? Daily, 2 to 3 per week, weekly, 2x per month, or monthly. And then you're going to use that to develop a schedule to match the desired frequency and that newsletter. Another scenario. So if you want to figure out how to get more people to your events, you'd probably want to make that more specific to say, surveying past registrants that didn't show up and figure out what would encourage them to attend. So some sample questions and choices. To which area would you most likely travel? And then give them those areas. Don't just open for a free form or you're going to get all kinds of weird stuff. And then the actions that you're going to look at is start investing or investigating those venues. Again, what kind of entertainment would you be most interested to see? A comedian, a musician, a performance artist, or other? If they click other, you want to give them the option to fill in information. But again, just leaving an open-ended question would leave you with a mess of data that you would have to sort through. And it's just more complicated for people to have to type something versus just selecting from pre-selected radio buttons. So giving them the open out would be okay. And then you're going to use that local network to find talent based on responses. Or the objective here, figuring out how to get more people to your events. Again, surveying past registrants that didn't show up. And then at what time of day are you most likely to attend? Morning, afternoon, late evening, and then developing that venue strategy. And again, how to get more people and then push that forward. So what types of surveys are there? Let's back up a second and talk about this. Really what we're talking about for the most part today are surveys. They're a little bit longer. They're sent through email and social media. They're intended to get feedback and segment your audience by interest, but they don't have to be incredibly long. And as a matter of fact, I'll say that they shouldn't be. Surveys that are very short are really called polls. So good for quick insight on one question and pushed out through email on your social media or for your website. And or finally, getting out reviews. This is asking for feedback on a specific product or experience and asking readers to rate your organization directly on a review site. Usually reviews involve at least a little bit of free form information to let people specify why they're reviewing you the way that they are. And so there's always a rate us 1 to 5 or something similar to that, and then taking it to the next level and say, can you give us more detail? Surveys is what we're talking about today. So let's get into structure and questions on those surveys. When we think about this, what are the reasons for surveys really? As we look at surveys and what the deal is, maybe you'll have an employee need or look at customer profiles to help fill out who you're reaching, talking about events or relevance, looking for customer experience, or of course, gauging customer satisfaction. Customer satisfaction in particular is a tricky one. So you want to know, for the most part, how satisfied your customer might be with your product or service, but more interesting might be how loyal your customers are. And this is a little bit of a crass example, but as you're talking about satisfied versus loyal, would you rather have a spouse who is satisfied or loyal? You want someone that's going to stick with you through thick and thin, refer you to as many people as possible. So asking the right questions can go beyond satisfaction and really dig in to see how you can make people want to stay with you more. As you look at this, if you have questions, you're going to think about the number of questions you're going to ask, and keep in mind that as the number of questions increase, the response rate decreases. So if you think about this and if you push forward, try to be as succinct as possible. And if you have 15 questions, try to get by with 10. Think about that you can always survey again later, but once you know what you're trying to accomplish, that'll also help you to ask better questions in subsequent surveys. So use your survey time or your survey exercises to drill down and get more specific about the information that you're asking for. I'm going to switch over for just 1 second, make sure that we don't have questions. Great. As a reminder, if you do want to ask questions from this event, from the BizzyWeb surveys page, you're going to go right into the Google Plus page if you're watching this live, and we have a whole bundle of folks that are, so thank you very much for that. But click on this Google Plus link, and that's going to take you into this window. And if you click the green Ask a New Question button, you can ask us questions, and we'll be happy to take those questions and give you those answers back. All right. So as we look at our questions and our number of questions, thinking about what types of questions you can get through, you want to get as many closed-ended questions as possible. Closed-ended, that's yes/no questions, even better, multiple choice questions. Make your survey easy to answer. It also makes your analysis very easy and allows for comparison. You can gauge on a factor of 1 to 5 how happy your customer was with their purchase, what they liked most about it, and then see if you trend differently over time. You can do with Constant Contact, you can set up different mailing lists or specific lists of different types of people. and maybe your new customers will be something that you want to survey on a regular basis, or repeat customers and find out why they come back for more. And so once you start doing that, you can start going to the same group frequently, once every month or once every couple of months, to find out if you're trending positively or negatively. So that'll help you very well. That also ensures that the scales are balanced and clear. If you're looking at, and if you have a lot of open-ended questions, that's really going to open you up for a whole bunch of confusion down the road. And having the ability to fill in text questions but not making it a required item is going to help you, or help your respondees give you more detail that you're looking for. But that's only helpful and informative after you've gotten the general trend lines down. So again, examples of questions that are open-ended. Do you have any suggestions on improving products? The good part about open-ended questions is they're not limited by options, and they provide deeper insights. They do tend to be harder to answer, so you want to keep it as limited as possible for the amount of open-ended questions that you require. It makes it harder to analyze, and it of course limits comparison. So avoid the common mistake of using too many open-ended questions. So here's some example questions and question tips. Good or bad and good. So how would you rate the career of legendary outfielder Joe DiMaggio? That's a leading question. That's like saying, how fantastic do you think BizzyWeb is? Or how wonderful is our product? That doesn't help you much. Better would be, how would you rate Joe DiMaggio's career? Another question, are you very satisfied or very dissatisfied with us? That's opposite ends of the question. That limits the evaluation. Just go with overall, how satisfied are you with us? Scale of 1 to 5, 1 being not at all, 5 being, oh my goodness, I want you to adopt my kids. What suggestions do you have for improving Tom's tomato juice? That's very general, and it's not going to help you much. What suggestions do you have for improving the taste of Tom's tomato juice? I would say you can go one step further and ask, do you think Tom's tomato juice is too bitter, too sweet, too tomatoey, too organic, whatever. So asking those questions would help you out a bunch. Again, more, what do you think of the service? It's harder to compare results. You found service to be, and then provide 3 or 4 choices. Adequate, amazing, fantastic, so-so, not good at all. Make sure that you give them good options. How would you rate the food and the entertainment at this event? It's kind of a double-barreled question. You're asking 2 questions in one, so just split it up. How would you rate the food? How would you rate the entertainment? I would go further to say, what did you like about the entertainment, or what did you like about the food, if you're going for a part 2 on that? Because again, you are looking for more open information, but don't force people to answer open-ended questions like that. And then, how well did the trainer explain the use of calls to action to drive CTs? See, I already de-jargoned it by habit, but how well did the RDD explain the use of CDAs to drive CTs? That's jargon. How effectively did the speaker explain calls to action? So, more tips. Make your first question very easy to answer. That warms people up. Name is a good one. How well did you like the event is another good one. Place your most important questions up front. So numbers 2, 3, and 4 should get right to the meat. If people drop out of the survey and don't answer the rest of the questions, what are the ones that you absolutely need to know? And make sure that you hit that, because we all have limited time. And then ask a profile and ask for profile and demographic information at the end. So people don't want to start with, who are they? What do they do? What's their social security number and all that? What they really want to know and get a question down is, what are you interested in? Why are you collecting this information? And what do you really want to know from me? And then demographics should be at the end, and it shouldn't be as important. You don't want to get too personal, and you don't probably need to make those questions mandatory, because people are going to be reluctant to supply truly honest feedback if they think you're going to call them up and yell at them. So You might want to take a quick shot. If you're on a Mac, you can do Command-Shift-4 to take a screenshot of this tips. If you're on a PC, it's just Alt print screen, and then you can put it into a document of your choice. But those are some easy, good tips. We're at about halfway through the presentation right now, so I'm going to just click back. Good, no questions. So we'll keep rolling. Let's talk about how long surveys need to be. So with surveys, the general thing is shorter is better. So if you're thinking about your life, what you do, when you're likely to submit surveys, if you can commit 5 to 10 minutes for a survey versus 15 to 20, you would be much more likely to respond to that. A 2-minute survey is even better for that, but that's probably more like a poll. Here's some tips on how to shorten your surveys up. First, don't ask questions that aren't relevant, and don't ask 2 questions if 1 is enough. Don't ask too many open-ended questions. Even if you have fewer of those, they just feel longer because you have to think about the response instead of reading the response as and clicking a button. And then don't ask too many demographic questions. Again, some good ones do have more than 10 to 12, no more than 10 to 12 questions. Multiple choices are always better because they feel shorter. And then limit your open-ended questions to no more than 3. And ideally, they should just be hangers-on that aren't necessary after or as parts of your multiple choice questions. So when people click other, you can give them more detail. And do target a 5 to 8 minute completion time. The key on this is to make sure that you take your survey yourself, and even better, get someone on your team that hasn't created the survey to look at the survey and take it as well, and to give them their feedback on how long it felt, if there are any things that felt weird, felt leading, felt like they might be confusing, and then go from there. So we know how to do a survey, and we know what types of questions to ask. Let's talk about when and who we should survey. First, you can survey on the fly as you need to know something. That'll happen after every interaction, or could be regularly scheduled. What you're trying to reach out here is you're trying to get out to specific people and figure out what those people mean to you. So spend a little bit of time to categorize your audience into, for example, regular customers or donors, seasonal customers or supporters, VIPs perhaps, or even brand new folks. So as you think about this, each type of person is helpful for you to know information about. So thinking about that and sending them out to different lists is going to give you that data and the context behind the data so that you can make informed decisions. So segmenting your audience is very important. As you think about these surveys, you can send out one survey perhaps in January to the entire group. In May, you might want to take a segment of that group, so the people that responded positively to something, or the people that said that they had attended a specific event. And then in September, perhaps you do another short survey or a small segment of a group. The key is continue to go back and refine your options and your offers. If you want to ask 25 questions of someone, you're going to have to ask them via like 3 or 4 surveys over the span of a few months. That's the best way to get a great response, because again, you're looking to connect with direct people, and you don't want to hit them over the head with too much information that they're just not going to respond. The longer your survey, the bigger the incentive needs to be in order to get people to do it. So if you were giving away a car at the end of your survey, you could probably ask them 200 questions. But if all you're trying to do is find out about how happy people were with your survey or with your service, then you're going to have to keep it as short as possible in order to get decent response, because people just don't need to be bothered. We've all got a lot on our plates, and so we need to make sure that we can cover that with as minimal effort as possible. So once you get that survey done, you're going to be looking at your results and your follow-up. So in order to get the best results, you need to get the word out on your survey, of course. So in addition to sending out to your lists, don't be afraid to share with your social networks. So send it out in Facebook, connect on LinkedIn, Get out send out a text message if you have a text messaging tool. And if you're looking for one of those, BizzyWeb has a fantastic option. And of course, send out those emails. The thing you need to think about, though, is that once you set that up, you're kind of going to be hurrying up and waiting, because you're going to send your note, and about half of those people are going to come back on the first day. And then probably 88% are going to respond within the first week. In general, if you're looking for how long to leave your survey open, 2 weeks is about enough time to leave that survey open to maximize responses. So you can just set it to expire after 2 weeks. Don't be afraid to send out messages to people who haven't responded yet. Don't hit them over the head too much with it, but sending out another message after 1 week saying, hey, 1 week left to respond, and then perhaps the day before saying, hey, our survey is closing tomorrow, would be fine. Just don't overdo it. After you get your survey out, then what? Of course, send respondents to a closing page to say thank you. Perhaps send those folks to a website to redeem a special offer. Thank you so much for your feedback. As a special thank you, we'd like to give you $300 in BizzyBucks. The key is your results need to inspire action. And so the best way to inspire that action is to do the following 5 steps. Review and analyze what you saw. Look for those trends. And then from those trends and from the analysis, create an action plan. From that action plan, you're going to be able to follow up with people that you've already connected with, and then go back to it and survey again. Again, I mentioned this a few times. If you have 50 things that you need to know, you're not going to get it all out of one survey, but you'll be able to cut up and to parse out the people that you're connecting with and ask them more relevant information based on their responses. So set up your surveys to go from broad to specific, and set them up as part of a series, and then go back and ask people. Now, you're going to have some natural attrition. People aren't going to want to respond to every survey every time. But as you think about this, keep connecting with people. And as long as you keep it short, as long as you're respectful, and as long as you give people an incentive to do so, you're probably going to have pretty decent luck with any survey strategy. So again, if you want to take a snapshot of this, you probably already have. But if you want that, go ahead and do that now. And while you do, I'm just going to switch over, make sure we don't have any questions. We're good. So I'm going to go back to our next step. Next up is what to do with that data. So as you review your statistics and data, some of the tools you can use to plan and promote your events come back instantaneously, and other things might take a while to get back. So, as you're looking at this, if you're trying to get all of your data into an Excel sheet, for example, that might take a little bit longer. Survey tools that are worth their salt all have reporting in them. Constant Contact survey options have fantastic reporting in them. So it's very good to look at. So as you're looking at this, is it going to actually get your response? So ensure your staff is trained to redeem or honor any offers or coupons that you send out. Collect sign-up lists at redemption. Make sure to offer up or ask people to subscribe to your email marketing, to your email newsletter. Collect information about their experience with every deal. So ask them to take a short online survey. Even better, if you have something that they can just fill out as a 1, 2, 3 or a quick poll, that would be great at that interaction experience time, and use those same tools to follow up on that. If you're looking to create an action plan from your results, here's a few quick tips. You can introduce new services, products, or programs. You can use it to improve your website. You can make your communications more relevant. Attracting new customers, clients, or donors, or segmenting your audience for better targeting are all great results that you might want to look for from your surveys. It's all about engaging people in conversation. Again, we covered this right at the beginning. You really have to move from results to engagement. In order to do that, you're going to want to push your questions out to your people, to the people that matter most to you, to the folks that you've categorized as either repeat customers, VIPs, brand new customers, what have you, because you're looking to pull insights from them. The third step that I've talked about just an itty bitty bit is you do need to take the time to share results as part of that conversation. So make sure that you get back to the people that responded to your survey, and even say that in your survey that results will be shared with you within 2 to 3 weeks. And then make sure that you share that, 80% of people really liked this. Thank you so much for responding to our survey. Here's what we learned. So you don't actually have to respond to every question, but providing a simple synopsis that said, 35% of folks that responded really loved X, Y, and Z, and here's what we learned from that, is going to help people know that you're taking their feedback seriously, and it'll make them that much more likely to respond to the next survey that you send them. So, next steps. What do we do from here? Here's some practical advice. Again, be sure when you're sending out any marketing, but certainly in surveys, that you use consistent branding, but you also personalize it. You want to send a note. It shouldn't be to whom it may concern to your survey. In your email marketing, if you're sending something out to people, you can say, Dear Bob. And so make sure that you're talking to Bob and being consistent and branding yourself as your organization with a name associated in the from line in order to get maximum results. When you're doing that survey, clearly state the purpose of the survey, as well as any incentives that you're going to offer at the end of the survey, and be sure to specify that time involved. So that would look like this survey is intended to help us improve the response and results on our product, and we're going to offer up, or we're going to provide a drawing for all of the people that respond to this survey, and someone's going to win a free month of our service. And this survey should only take 5 to 8 minutes to complete. Make sure that you inform your clients of confidentiality. Your questions or your responses will not be shared with any third party. And if you request, or if you don't want to, you don't have to provide your name, but you won't be eligible for the special offer, of course, if you don't provide if you keep anonymous. But then clearly display that call to action. Click here to submit, click here to take the survey, and just make it very clear. Make sure that you're also clear about that closing date. And again, don't set it out for 5 months from now, or people are just going to forget about it. Max is about 2 weeks for a closing date, and make sure that you include a thank you when people do complete it. Send them to a landing page that just says, thank you so much, click here to redeem your code, or thank you so much, we really appreciate it at the very least. The key is make people feel like they're part of helping your organization improve. Now, this can all seem really daunting. How am I going to set up a survey? How am I going to go with it? The key for me is that you have to adopt the mindset of a professional tinkerer when you're doing any of this stuff. So what do tinkerers do? They start small. You're going to get out with just a single item poll on your website or via social media. And then once you get better at that, once you get the hang of it, you can do a 2 to 3 question survey and get those out via a newsletter. Eventually, as you get better at this and as you're comfortable with it, go ahead and try that 10 to 12 question survey and use different question types, and then share those results with your respondents and send out additional pulse surveys to smaller segments throughout the year. So as you're looking at that and trying to build this forward, it's easiest if you take itty bitty bites, and if you try to push forward from that, understanding that you're going to build on this over time. Again, you can't send out a survey and expect great results if that survey is 30 questions long. 5 to 8 questions, 10 to 12 questions, 5 to 8 minutes is about all you can expect. And make sure that you're including that. A great tool like Constant Contact will guide you through this, so it's almost foolproof. But the key is you actually have to start getting down that road. So we know all about this now. How do we take advantage of this? This is where I talk a little bit about our results. And so this is what to do. If you have Constant Contact already, you might see this. This is if you've got the older version of Constant Contact. The new version looks like this. And so if you have Constant Contact already, it's not expensive. It's incredibly simple. And this is what it looks like when you get in there. You simply need to click on, whether you want to run a campaign, and that includes surveys, newsletters, reach out to contacts or look at your library. And then there's specific things that you do inside of these campaigns that drill down, including surveys, promotions, social media outreach. Constant Contact does a little bit of all of that and does each of those things very, very well. The surveys and the events and registrations are among my favorite parts of Constant Contact. And since we've started using Constant Contact for our busy webinars, our attendance has gone through the roof. So, and you're a testament to that. So thank you for joining. And it's as easy as creating an email. So if you look at this, if you connect out, and if something like this seems like it might be for you, go ahead again and visit BizzyWeb.com/cc. And I'm going to set aside another moment here for Q&A. So if you go to BizzyWeb.com/cc, click on the link on that page to register for Constant Contact. If you do that by April 30th, we're going to set you up with a free template design that you can use for your surveys and for your email marketing newsletters. What we do is we actually base that off of the design of your website. So if your website's terrible, we'll actually help you fix up your website first. But if you already have a website that you love, we'll take the design of that website, the logos, the colors, and we're going to make an email template for you for free. That's a $200 value as part of this if you sign up within the next couple of weeks. So Constant Contact, how much does it all cost? Pretty cheap, actually. It's $45 a month for up to 500 contacts. If you want to go up to 2,500 contacts, it's just an extra 15 bucks a month, and it goes in $2,500 increments until you get into bigger for another 15 bucks a pop. So there's the essential includes plus campaigns, surveys, email marketing, and social media marketing. Basic is just email, so it doesn't cover the survey thing that we've been talking about today. Ultimate includes everything that you get in essential, but it also includes a personal coach that you can talk to and that can give you guidance for your business. So there's a breakdown here, but I want to keep this as simple and short as possible. So if you have questions about Constant Contact, again, go ahead and get a hold of us at the numbers that are listed or at the number at the bottom of the screen, or just go to BizzyWeb.com/cc. One last time for questions. Don't see any, so that's perfect. In summary, again, BizzyWeb is a web design company that focuses on online marketing as well. So if you need a website, and particularly if you haven't made your website mobile responsive, as of April 21st, next Tuesday, if you do not have your website as mobile responsive, Google is going to stop showing your website in search results on mobile devices. Might not seem like a big deal to you, but up to 80% of searches originate on mobile devices right now. So you might be down 80% in your search result revenue or search result traffic if you don't make your website mobile responsive. Talk to us today if you haven't looked into that, and we can help you. And I'll show you one last thing at the end on how we can show you what we mean. We also do web hosting, and we manage and maintain all WordPress websites ourselves. If you need that, it's the best deal in the industry. And why we're here is that we also do online marketing. We focus and feature Constant Contact in much of our online marketing, but we also have programs to help you grow your company with promotional surveys and setups, to deepen relationships with your existing customers, or to generate leads for your B2B business. If you need any of that, connect with us about our Buzz Builders program. You'll dig it. Finally, join us every Wednesday. This Wednesday, of course, was online surveys. Next week, we're going to talk about landing more sales. And so we're going to go through that, how to generate business and sales in your organization using online marketing and your website. We have newsletters and announcements for SCORE. And if you're up in the Brainerd Lakes area, we're going to be up in Brainerd with the SCORE chapter to present Social Media 102. We also do have a replay of that webinar if you're outstate or a little bit further away. We're going to do a webinar on newsletters and announcements on Thursday next week. And then we've got another St. Paul presentation on email. And then Twin West locally here, we're having a Chamber of Commerce social media presentation. So please do check us out, and you can update and register for any of those events at BizzyWeb.com/events. Finally, if you haven't yet requested a Buzz Report from BizzyWeb, in a thanks for attending our Busy Webinars, we offer this to attendees. If you'd like us to look at your online marketing and provide real recommendations on how you can improve that will help you grow your business. We'll look at your website. We'll look at your search engine optimization. We'll look at your online marketing, your social media, your email marketing if you do that, and we'll provide concrete ways that you can improve your results and give you the straight dope on what you're doing well and what you can improve on. This is free to you. Just go to BizzyWeb.com/buzz and we'll send you a report. And if you'd like more information in detail, we can schedule a real meeting with you or a one-to-one meeting to go through in more depth what you're looking for. Again, I am Dave Meyer with BizzyWeb. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. Here's my contact information again. So if you'd like to reach me, please go ahead and connect out. Or of course, remember to go to BizzyWeb.com/cc to get a hold of us or call us at 612-4BizzyO. That's 612-424-9990 for more information and for help from BizzyWeb. I'm Dave Meyer with BizzyWeb, and we help you generate buzz without getting stung. Thanks so much for attending today, and we'll talk to you next time. Have a great day.